In this video, I want to talk about products and services in Wave. And these products and services are going to go on your customer invoices. So what you're doing here is setting up these items on the products and services page. And this is what your customer is going to see on the invoice. And each one of these items is connected to an income account. So your customer doesn't see the income account name, they instead see the name of the product or service they're purchasing, because this is going to make more sense to the customer. It's going to make more sense to them to get an invoice that says consulting services as opposed to an invoice that says service income. And then you can also set up products and services to use on your vendor bills for purchases. However, you don't have to, because you can simply use an expense account on your vendor bills. So these are more of a personal preference and optional. So what I'm going to do in this video is focus on the sales side, since that is required to create invoices. So to add products and services, you would go to this products and services page, and you can see this add a product or service up in the top right corner. And you can create a product or service, give it a name, a description, a price, and then you can choose these boxes to either sell this or buy this or both. And you would connect the item that you set up to an income account in your chart of accounts. So basically what you want to do first, if you're just starting out with Wave, is set up your chart of accounts to have your income accounts. So I'm going to go to the chart of accounts. And here's the income section. And right here, you see the income accounts that I have set up. Now there might already be an account set up right here, but if you need to add a new account, you can just add it right here. And what income accounts you have is going to be dependent on your business and dependent on your preferences. Some people just have one income account. Some people have multiple income accounts. So it just depends on how you want to track your income. So if you have multiple sources of income or multiple types of products, multiple types of services, you may break that out and have separate income accounts for each one, or you may just have one income account. But for purposes of this video, I just have a product sales account for selling products, a service income account for selling services, and then a reimbursable expense income account for any expense reimbursements from customers. So once I have the chart of accounts set up, then I would go over to products and services and set up my items. Now, instead of adding a new product or service, I'm just going to click on a couple of these and talk about it a little bit. So for example, this first one, the $75 hourly fee, I'm going to click on edit. And the price I have set at $75. And the name of this is $75 hourly fee. So basically this is if I'm selling services for $75 an hour. This is how I might set it up. And this particular item is only connected to selling. It's not connecting to buying because I'm not buying this, I'm just selling it. If I wanted to add a sales tax, I would add that here. If I add a description, that's going to show up on every single invoice. So if I have a set description that I want to show up on all the invoices that I create with this item, then I would put that here, or I could leave it blank. And then on the actual invoice itself, I could put a custom message for the customer. And then same thing with price. I could either leave this blank and put a set price on the customer invoice, or I could keep a price in here to pre-fill into the invoice. So I'm going to create an invoice with this item so that I can walk you through that. So we're going to go to the invoices page, and I'm going to click on create an invoice. I'm going to add a customer. The invoice number is going to pre-fill based on what my last invoice number was, but I can change that. I can change this other information. I'm just going to leave this as is for now. And then right here is where I add my item. So notice it does not allow me to directly add the service income account. I instead have to add an item that's connected to the service income account. So I'd click on this and then click on $75 hourly fee. And then you can see here that the price pre-filled. And then I can just change the quantity. So for example, if I worked for this customer for 6 hours times $75 an hour, that's a total of $450. This item was not connected to a sales tax, but I could add a sales tax here if I needed to add a sales tax to this invoice. And then since I didn't put a description in the item itself, I'm able to enter an item description here that's more customized to that specific customer, that specific job. I might put the project name, I might put other details just so they know what they're paying for. And then this right here allows me to view the income account that this item is related to in case I want to make sure it's mapped to the correct account. If I click on it, it tells me that this is categorized as service income. So on my reports, it will show up as service income, but the customer is going to see $75 hourly fee. And I'm going to go ahead and type a project name in here just to have some details. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save this and approve the draft. Okay, so now I have this invoice on the invoices page. I'm going to go ahead and say that I sent it. So now I have this invoice that I created with that item. And let's go ahead and look at the report so we can see how it looks on the report. So I'm going to go to the profit and loss. And I'm going to go to details. And here's the income right here, the $450. So on my end, internally, it shows me service income. Whereas over here on the customer invoice, they see $75 hourly fee. So that's how it works. You're basically just setting up these items and using them to connect to income accounts. Okay, now I'm going to look at another one of these so I can show you another example. So let's look at this monthly services one. This one is connected to the same income account, service income. It's not connected to an expense account. It doesn't have a price so that the price can be customized for the specific invoice. And it doesn't have a description so that, again, the description could be customized for that specific invoice. So I'm going to create an invoice with this particular item. So I'm going to go to the invoices page. I'm going to create an invoice. I'm going to add a customer. I'm going to add my details over here, and I'm going to use the monthly services item. Now this time it doesn't have a price, so I would need to add a price myself. So let's just say this is $350. And then I might add a description. And then if I want to add a sales tax, I could do that, of course, as well. So by not having a price set up under products and services, it allows me to edit the price here because I might charge different prices for different customers. Now, even if it had pre-filled with a description or a price, I could still edit it here. So for example, if I had this set up for $500, I could still change this. So if this had pre-filled to $500, I could have still changed it to something else. So even if you have it set up to pre-fill, you can still edit these fields on the actual invoice itself. So I'm going to go ahead and save this one, approve the draft, mark as sent. And now I'm going to go back to the products and services page. And I'm going to look at this consulting services item. This is set up with no description, so I'm going to add that here. And then it does have a price and it's connected to the service income account. I'm going to go ahead and save what I changed. And now I'm going to use that to create an invoice. So I'm going to create an invoice here on the Invoices page. I'm going to add a customer, add all my details. And this time I'm going to add consulting services. It pre-fills with a description, it pre-fills with a price, but I can still change this. And I can still change the price. Now what I cannot change is the name of it or the income account that it's attached to. I would have to change those two items under products and services, but I can change these other fields. I'm going to go ahead and save this one. Approve it and mark as sent. So hopefully that gave you an idea of how to use products and services on your invoices. That's all I wanted to cover in this video, but if you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and thank you for watching.